While I am targeting this video toward drivers over 50, there's something in here for you younger guys too if you want to take the time to listen, especially if you're over 30. But even if you're as young as 22 years old, you'll get something from this. I started driving a truck when I was 26 years old when I lost a job that I enjoyed immensely, and things just didn't go the way I wanted them to, and I needed another job to make up for lost wages where I didn't get paid for 2 months. So a friend of mine owned a truck, put me in a truck, and I've pretty much been there ever since. At age 49, I decided I wanted to come off the road and just quit driving altogether and stick around the house a little bit longer. My kids were out of high school, they were getting out on their own and everything, and I just didn't want to drive a truck anymore. And there were several positions where I live at locally that paid exceptionally well, and I was more than qualified for most of them, had the experience to back it up for what they were looking for, and I applied. And I applied time and time again, and time again, I didn't even get in for an interview. And it became apparent after a few months that they were bringing in the young people, 23 to 25, 27 years old, and just hiring them left and right. And anybody over 45 just wasn't even getting an interview. So that kind of flopped. So these are things you have to think about as you get older. You get passed over because of your age. Now, we could sit here and discuss the fact that this age discrimination, I could have brought a lawsuit and probably got somewhere with that, but I'm just not about that. If you don't want me at your place, I definitely don't want to be there. Now we're going to step off into what this video is primarily about. Someone who's reached the age of, say, 50, 55, even 58, who's kind of been pushed out of a job that's been downsized, and now you're having trouble finding another job. You're just getting passed over on your interviews, and it happens a lot. People don't like to talk about the age discrimination, but it's out there and it's very real. Truck driving is a good option for a second career. And you can think that, well, I can't handle that, I can't handle the days away, but there are so many options available to you. You can be home every night, you can be home every weekend, you can be home every week, every month. It can work any way you need it to work if you get with the right company. Of course, there's the training you have to go through. 2 to 3 weeks in a school cost you a little bit of money, and then you hire on with a company and you spend a few weeks with a trainer and a lot of BS and all that. But it is a viable option at your age and everything. Even at 65, at age 65, companies will cater to an older driver because they think they're more stable and more reliable, which some of them are. I personally know a driver that come through orientation with me at a company I worked for who was 65 years old. When we come out of orientation, he went into training. He had no experience in a truck. When he got done with training, they gave him a local job. He was home every night. He just shuttled trailers back and forth between yards and went home every night and made as much money as I did working over the road. And while there are a lot of people who look down on truck drivers, truck driving is a good job. It is a dependable job, for the most part anyway. As long as you keep your CDL clean, you're stable, and you show up for work when you're supposed to, you'll keep your job. I mean, they would keep you there till you were 100 years old if you were physically able to do the job, but that's the way things are in trucking. They don't really care about your age so much. They do care if you're too young. That the lack of experience plays a factor too, but your age is a dominant thing here. So what we're getting at here, if you've been pushed out of a career and you are having trouble finding something, give truck driving some thoughts here. You can make good money, and pretty much things are starting to change within the industry that allows you to be home every night, every week, every month. You can pretty much do what you want. My last company job, I named my own schedule. They asked me when I wanted to go out and when I wanted to be home. I said, well, I'm going to work 7 days, I'm going to work 14 days, I'm going to work 21 days. But whenever I got ready to go home, I just sent them a message, say, I'm ready to go home now. And they would get me straight to the house. Might take 2 or 3 days to get there, but they would get me there. And once I got to the house, I could take off as long as I wanted to. There was absolutely zero pressure to come back to work.